Huh? I'm assuming you're recording. It's a thing that my best friend who is a lender gave me. And it says the cost of waiting for $250,000 home purchase with 20% down. So it basically says that if your loan today was $250,000 and you wait 3 years instead to buy because you're waiting, the property value would be like 292. And okay, let me see. There's got to be an easier way to say this. It gathers like your appreciation loss. So if you wait 3 years to buy the same house and the house costs you more, but maybe rates dropped a tiny bit, so the interest amount that you would have lost is $5,700 by waiting. And the appreciation predicted that you would lose is $42,488. Let's talk about this. The truth about 20% down payments, and is it worth it? I'm considering purchasing a home and putting 20% down. Is that a good idea? I get this question a lot, so let's take a deep dive into why it's good to buy now and if you should put 20% down on a house. You've probably heard a lot of people talk about how making a 20% down payment on a house is a smart move. And for the longest time, I was always told by people that are my parents' age that you have to put 20% down to buy a house. So when I was super young, I was always like, oh gosh, I can never afford to buy a house, because it was just something I figured you'd have to do. My clients think the same thing, and I'm like, oh heavens no, let's go get you pre-qualified. You may not have to have anything down. So let me break it down for you here real simple. If you do decide to put 20% down, you're gonna have no extra insurance fees. So we're talking about private mortgage insurance. It's an extra insurance that is on your loan until you have 20% equity in that house, and then it will fall off. So if we put 20% down, we're able to skip that extra cost and you're going to actually have a smaller payment. So that's a bonus for you as a buyer of putting that 20% down. So you're gonna have a smaller payment every month. And the more we pay up front, the less we have to borrow, which means our monthly payments will be lower. So again, just to reiterate, 20% down means you're going to have a lower payment. Maybe you can pay more and pay that house off quicker. You're gonna get a better loan rate. So if you're gonna be able to put that 20% down, banks love when you do that because you're considered a stronger buyer and less risky for them. So they will give you a better interest rate most likely than that person that's going to put 5 to 10% down. You're gonna have instant home values right off the bat. That means that by putting that 20% down, you have that much more equity in that house already. That's a good chunk of the home's value to start out with. So if you come across a time in your life where maybe you need to refinance and get some of that money out of it or borrow against it, you're gonna have the ability to do so and not be upside down in the house at all. Stronger offers. I mean, when I have a seller and we're presented with a offer where they're gonna pay 20% down, absolutely, I'm gonna tell the seller it's probably a stronger one to go with. So you as a buyer, and maybe you're in a multiple offer situation, I would consider doing 20% down if you can, because that is great. You're gonna save on interest. I think that's like a no-brainer here. Again, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but if you don't have private mortgage insurance and your balance is lower, you're gonna save on interest overall because the house is gonna be paid off quicker. So, all right, now I wanna think about some things that maybe you wanna be cautious about, and is it right for you to put 20% down? You need to keep some cash handy. So if that is your entire savings, maybe it's not right for you. Putting a ton of cash into a house might leave you short for expenses that come along. Moving in general is very expensive when everything goes right. So if things go wrong, a water heater bursts, or maybe you have unexpected expense somehow in the house and you've used all your cash, that could be super inconvenient and probably not the best decision. Other investments. Maybe you have other things that you need that money for, and giving all of your cash to the house and just for the ability to put 20% down is probably not the smartest financial move on your behalf. I would talk to your lender about this to help you make the right decision, but I know different people that I've worked with invest their money elsewhere and it can make them more doing other things versus just paying down that tab on their house. Fixing up the place. Let's say you bought a house, it's a little bit of a fixer-upper, and you've used all your cash to be able to pay that 20% down, and now you're kind of like, what do I do? Because it needed new carpet, the bathrooms don't really work well, and the refrigerator just went out. This would be a situation that would put you in a bind, and then maybe you're putting it on a credit card that has a much higher interest rate, so...
Declined. Can you try again? Really declined.
Is that really the smartest thing to do?
No.
And rising home prices. If we wait too long to save up 20%, we might get hit by higher home prices. This is talking to those people that have it in their mind that they want to definitely do 20% down, but it's gonna take a long time. So if, let's say that long time is 3 to 5 years, I can guarantee the house today that you're looking at is going to be much more expensive in 3 to 5 years. And is that worth it? So think about that when you're considering what your down payment should be. Because overall, your house would have appreciated and you could have put a little bit less down and maybe paid more to it. And in the long run, you're going to have gained so much more. So it's just like that paper I read in the beginning. You're literally tripping over $5,000 to miss an appreciation of $50,000. So don't be that person. Don't step over a $10 bill to pick up a penny. Think about it in a very functional and informational way. Waiting right now is probably not the best decision if prices are going to keep going up like they historically have. And you want to make sure that you are able to obtain the most money and most value with the money that you do have. By buying, you can buy into that appreciation. And instead of saving $5,000, you're going to gain $50,000. Sounds like a deal to me. Remember, the best depends on what your financial situation is currently and your plans. You and your lender can go over all of that and figure out what the perfect down payment for you will be and if it matches your goals and your lifestyle. So make sure that you talk about all of that, and that's all I have for you today. Make sure that you hit like and subscribe, drop anything in the comments about how much maybe you've put down on a home. I would love to hear it from everyone, and I will see you on the next one.